Bach doesn't write this harmony, but he writes this. What makes music work? What is it that delivers that emotional connection to you, that makes you go back time and time again to that same piece of music, to Bach's music, to Mozart, to Beethoven? What makes Bach Bach? What makes Mozart Mozart? What makes Beethoven Beethoven? Interesting questions, right? In this video we'll zoom in on one piece that Bach wrote for organ, his Prelude and Fugue in A minor. What makes that piece amazing? Because amazing it absolutely is. Stay around a little while to see if we can come up with some answers. He sets the mood right at the beginning, introducing chromatic lines downward. We have actually two. And so Bach is taking us from very high, you could say symbolizing heaven, whatever you want, but something like that. And he's taking us down painfully with chromaticism. And after that first line, you would expect, it doesn't give that, so it doesn't give the solution. The obvious solution would be, he gives. So one line, from high till the middle of the keyboard. You want to breathe now, but you cannot take time to breathe because Bach doesn't give you the solution to the chord, he continues the tension. And Bach introduces triplets. He varies the note pattern. Suddenly there is chaos. Back at the beginning. And what does Bach do? As if this middle section, as this transition passage didn't occur, he finds the energy also with us as a listener to just continue. So we come from here and we continue. This is just amazing. We go from here to here. And when we are at the bottom, Bach starts to build up again. And then something really magical happens. So we are down here, we are full of sorrow. Bach goes back to the triplets, but now they're organized. And now they're going to lift us. Like. And then comes this pedal note. There are two things on this pedal note which makes this music just great and makes Bach Bach, and only Bach probably could have figured it out. Bach could have given that note where we hit the bottom of the keyboard, where the lifting up starts, where the organization with triplets really starts, and we try to grow, we try to lift our soul again above this, you know, we are flat on the floor. So Bach could have done this. That would have been great, but he doesn't do that. He postpones that A in the pedal and see with what effect. Listen. So this A in the bass, which gives so much foundation, we are coming from, so chromatically down with this pedal. Like completely confused, we're going down with chromatism, which is painful, and then suddenly we arrive here. And here's the support. This A is like the creation of everything. There, we as humans feel like whatever happens here, there is something there that supports us. Only this timing of that note makes this piece unforgettable. And then this building up with triplets, the universe gets a structure. The A is supporting everything. It's the meaning, it's the foundation of life, it's the meaning of everything. Whatever your philosophy or religion is, you can find something that really resonates with you. Listen. Those are cries. Of course, those harmonies are not really written there. Bach doesn't write this harmony, but he writes this. And in the church you hear it, because the echo is just giving both notes, the A and the G, a little bit simultaneously, and you can play around with that. Here. In this fugue, I would like to focus on one particular passage, but before we do that, essentially a fugue is a composition in which one theme or subject is followed by another entrance of the subject in another voice. This particular fugue has 4 voices. We have a yellow, we have a green, we have a pink, and we have an orange voice. So soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. This fugue starts by the theme in the upper voice. A very simple motive and then a sequential tail, which leads to a kind of bridge to the new entrance, which is in the second voice, the green one, the alto. Same entrance, same subject, which is really cool. And if that was not enough, many fugues have counter subjects. So when the subject in the second voice is repeated, well, the first voice gets a little bit bored and says, you know what, I'm going to invent another theme. And when the third voice enters, here, Mr. Pink, the second voice says, listen, this was so cool, I'm going to repeat that as well. And so here you have the counter subject as well. And of course we're speaking about Bach. Bach is giving the counter subject in the first voice as well, just starting a little bit earlier, and so playing with the counter subject within the counter subject while the subject is given in the third voice. And when you listen to it, you don't even notice that. Then comes the codetta. It's just a transition period between 2 voices, because you have to develop harmonically. The first voice is in the tonica, we're in A minor, the second voice is in the dominant, which is E. And so here again, kind of episode of little development. Finally, the pedal, Mr. Orange, is giving the theme as well. Here you have the counter subject, because Bach doesn't forget about it. So here the exposition, so to say, ends. All 4 voices have had their turn, and now comes a kind of episode. Bach is using some elements of the fugue that ends about here. Then you have another episode. You could say that's episode 1, episode 2, or just another episode. That episode ends here. Here there is not much tension, it's just a transition passage. That transition leads to an hemiola here. So an hemiola in this particular case transforms the time signature very temporarily from 6/8 to 3/4. It's basically here impossible to play still in 6/8. I'm going to show you that. So here we start in 6/8. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. That gives a very nice rhythmical differentiation, and Bach uses that a lot in fugues to initiate a new entrance of the theme, which comes here. This passage, you could say, ends here, where Bach again starts developing based upon thematic materials. Then we continue. We have another entrance here of the theme in the second voice, not followed by a counter subject either. Again, a kind of transition. You can see the pattern here, and then another entrance in the first voice. So next page, something very beautiful. Here you have a false entrance in the pedal. Everybody thinks this is the theme, but he is actually tricking us a little bit, because this theme entrance stops here and the bass gives the spotlights to the tenor. Next page, nothing really happens. It's just playing around with the motives, with some harmonies. It leads to this page where you have the last entrance in the tenor voice leading to this organ point. An organ point is a passage where harmonically, you know, the foundation of the piece is carried by one note. In this case, E, which is not surprisingly the dominant or the most important note in the tonality of A minor, of course, apart from A itself. And then with the last page, which has a pedal solo and a free development here that leads to the end of the fugue. Something else that is really great in this fugue is you have this very busy theme, like so a lot of notes, very long theme. How do you deal with that? What Bach did was creating a counter subject that is really simple and is acting as a counter subject. So while the left hand is doing for the second voice, you have these long lines in the right hand. So it gives the perfect balance between a theme that is long and very busy. For instance, here where you have the false entrance of the pedal, there he gives the long notes, but the long notes are just all over the place, emphasizing the rather simple transitions of harmony, but bringing so much peace of mind, so much rest. And then he leaves that. He introduces 16th notes as an answer to the left hand, and see how much more dramatic this suddenly becomes. Here. And what does he do? He balances it with the pedal. A. Just nothing happens there. The pedal very busy. Right hand very calm. Now the right hand participates with the busyness, the pedal gives the balance. All these things make this music great. Now, there is one passage in particular that I want to share with you in this entire fugue, which for me is just like incredibly well done. You have here a long transition period, an episode so to say, where you have harmonically also not so much is happening, just goes on in this harmonic development, very simple. Theme entrance, very beautiful, going from D minor to the 6th, on the move to G major, but you don't have really the impression that there is a theme entrance. Bach just continues the journey, the drive so to say, and he does it with a purpose. He's fixing something. He's saying like, listen, circle of fifths, Vivaldi like mood, I know guys you like all of that, but let's do something really interesting. He's shifting this like in an instant by giving you the most beautiful dissonance of this piece here. What happens then after this huge dissonance? We come from a passage that's like, the sky is blue, everything is right, there's nothing to worry about. We have this like a jumping back and forth of circles of fifth, like everything, we are happy. But then comes a C sharp, and then comes a theme entrance. And then suddenly this piece just connects to the drama that it had before in a way that I think only composers of the level of Bach can. And that makes this music so great. So let's do it, listen to it. There is a story here that's been told. Suddenly, you were like going along with this harmony, and suddenly you are in the midst of the story. This is a very exciting movie that we're watching suddenly. Great music is always defined by small tweaks, little deviations of certain patterns that take the listener and the player by surprise time after time again. It never fatigues. Try it yourself. You can listen to this piece as many times as you want simply by clicking on this video in which I play this piece after a 3 hours challenge on this exact same organ. See you over there.